Hello, I'm Gary Quinn, and welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Live. My guest today is John Barrentine, CEO and founder of the Barrentine Group at Keller Williams. As the head of a thriving real estate enterprise, John strategically signs your for sale property to be seen at its best, negotiating strong offers from the first point of contact and maximizing profits during the escrow process. He brings an extraordinary sense of style to his work, clients, co-workers, and family. Don't go away. I'll be right back with John Barrentine. Welcome to the show, John.
Gary, thank you so much for having me.
You know, we've finished this real estate. You're the last one of our segment, but I wanted to really ask you, when you're working in this, let's say, inspiring real estate world that you're working with, and I know you work with a lot of passion and a lot of heart and intuition, what is the main thing that you strive to give to your clients or sellers or buyers? What's the secret that you've been utilizing?
I would say my superpower and really the superpower of our team is empathy, frankly. It is meeting our clients where they are, really being clear and assessing their need, and then structuring a tailored plan, something designed specifically for them, right? And so it really is a very clear conversation and a high level of listening to the need, and then being really clear and moving forward with them on that path.
And I think I've talked with the other experts that real estate is not selling. And I think there's a misinterpretation of people thinking that is what real estate is. Exactly.
Old school real estate was, and it was hardball negotiating, and that is certainly not the real estate world that I've grown up in. And we find it's very collaborative, that the process the process is about education, but we can't talk about real estate without talking about a lot of other things, right? It's about love, and as I said, it's about empathy, and it's about caring, and it's about security, and it's about, one of the things that we say on our team is we believe that where you wake up in the morning is important, right? And everyone needs that launch pad for life. And so it's very, the purchase is very important in that way. And so we want to be really clear with our clients about what makes that a special home or a special experience for them along the way.
And that falls into the intention of that you are the success by your energy. Your energy is basically what connects to your clients.
That's it. And I, as you and I've had these conversations around metaphysics and our beliefs, and it's something that I really discovered a long time ago, and how to manifest things in my life, and how to do that in conjunction with others. And so we bring that intention to each individual transaction, and to each relationship, and to each client, and we're able to sit down and create that experience and that sale with each one of them. And it's interesting how it shows up differently each time based on the energy and the process and the people that are involved. And that's part of the really fascinating thing about this industry is it's never quite the same way twice, right? Yeah.
And growing up in Alabama, as a young boy, was there an intention that this was going to be what you were going to do? Or, most of the time it's there's an epiphany that happens. What was your epiphany?
It was not what I intended to do growing up. We grew up in the world of horses, and at one point I thought I would actually be a trainer. I actually thought I would train and manage a barn, and that's how deep we were into it. And then I thought, oh, well, okay, I'm going to college, so I'll be a veterinarian. And then that was not, and then that didn't pan out to be what I wanted to do either. So I wound up in the School of Communication and Journalism and Public Relations, which I really love. And so that has been the transition into this for me. I never real estate was not a thing in sort of rural Alabama. It wasn't a career choice. It wasn't anything that I knew anything about, and it was the discovery of the field that led me into it, and a way to combine my talents in a way that I could also create the situation and the experience for myself, right? To work for myself in a way that I could create my future and what I wanted, rather than being dependent on a corporation or someone on the outside. So it was just a way to put all of those things together, and I've been very, very fortunate.
But think about all the inspiration and intention that you are bringing to the party here, which is very rare in many real estate agents or brokers. I think they're lacking that. And I think that each individual is really based on the frequency of your soul path, of you really being all that you can be, but giving yourself permission to be excited and be passionate. I mean, I love that about you, because you have this extra, even on your videos, there's an extra push that's not a push, I want to say sparkle that you give off. And so I think that's your talent and I imagine you teach that to your team.
Well, thank you, first of all. It's always great to be seen, right? And I love that, and thank you for the acknowledgement. And I'm aware of that, and I do use that, and I've always used that from childhood. I've used that, and I've always known that was there to tap into. And so I think for each of us, we have to discover what that is, right? And then we have to find a way to work with that in whatever our career path or that we've chosen. And so for me, it was again a way to bring several strengths together, and to find a way to incorporate that sense of who I was into my business, and to tap into the passion of it. And I think each of us as realtors have to decide what that is for us, and everyone brings a different experience to the table. And so for someone that has a law degree, they bring a certain element to their real estate practice. For someone that came from a corporate background and a financial background, brings something different to the practice. And so for me, it was the combination of business and presentation and the public relations side of it, along with the creative and understanding how to create something, the product, the home itself, and the interior of the home especially, to be able to create something that would benefit my clients, because it was something that spoke to others, right? Something that spoke to buyers.
And I think we each find this place in our lives where we're able to really follow our heart and use our intuition through setting the intention. And I love that about you and your partners and your work together. You're always setting an intention that is really a cause and effect. And I think that creating that consciousness in that mindset is really the secret of success. What has been your biggest lesson so far in utilizing that tool?
Well, intention is the word that we use, right? And my husband Chuck and I talk about intention and intention for our lives, and how to work with that on a daily basis. We also bring it into our business life, as you mentioned. And one of the things that we do is, at the beginning of each of our meetings as a team, we have an affirmation, right? That we recite as a team that means something to all of us. And to your question of, you know, how did I incorporate that, and what does that mean? We use simply the law of attraction through the intention that we set, and in that intention, in that affirmation, we talk about attracting clients that are kind and loyal and have the means of home ownership, and what we've gleaned from that, and the difference in our business before and after is palpable, right? We wanted to attract a certain clientele. We wanted to be really intentional about bringing people into our experience, people that could benefit from our relationship is one of the lines, and that's shown up for us, right? That it has kept us out of a lot of crazy. and a lot of energetic situations that were not for us, and it has brought into our experience that which has created abundance for us. And the thing we do following that is we immediately talk about gratitude, right? And what each of us are grateful for as we come together that week. And that's also been a lovely thing. And that's, if we begin there with a great intention followed by gratitude, there isn't much that we can't do.
And I think gratitude is really not an attitude, it's an application
Yes.
on a daily level.
And an awareness.
And awareness.
That's it.
And
yes.
the shift. And I imagine that sometimes you'll see a client or you'll get you'll receive an energy from a client that you go, I really don't want to work with them. And it doesn't happen, but what you said about the laws of attraction, what you put out, you attract that same mirror of your consciousness. So if you're putting out a high-minded consciousness of collaborative, connected, successful energy, happy energy, those will be your clients.
Yes. And I would say further that the client that comes to the experience with a grateful heart, someone that is grateful for the experience that they intend to have. They have not had it yet, but they are in advance grateful for what they know is going to transpire with us and as a partner with them and in that space. They have an amazing experience, right? You can feel it, and there's just a real difference in the client that comes to the table with doubt and with negativity and with fear, as opposed to the client that comes to the experience looking for something to be grateful for, wanting and knowing that it's going to show up for them in a way because they come from a place of gratitude. And it's completely different. And again, one of the things that we really love about what it is that we do is that experience with each client and how that unfolds. It's fascinating and I fall in love with people more, right, as a result of it. Yeah.
What does love mean to you?
That's the big one, the big question. I believe that love is the energy that propels things forward in the universe, and on this plane of existence, to take it out a little woo-woo further. So, in the lives that we lead, that love is the thing that even though it may not appear so in the moment, is the thing that pushes and drives everything forward. And so, for me, that's been easy to tap into. I know that's not everyone's experience. But it brings so many other adjectives to my life on a daily basis, right? Joy and satisfaction and comfort and happiness and all that sort of is wrapped into and goes along with that. But it all starts with love, right? That's the beginning of all of it.
Well, at the end of the day, yes, everybody wants to work and be successful and create goals, but at the end of the day, the only experience really is love. Love is all there is, really, at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And I believe this is a school of our lessons, that we attract certain people, clients, customers, energy, partnerships, of just really aligning to those soul groups that need to mirror us and learn from. And it's all a learning. I mean, I love learning every day something about people. I love people, and I'm sure, I know you do, because it's an energy.
Well, being with you today is the perfect example of that, right? I mean, that is what we have just done and experienced, and in the time that I've known you, that's what it's been about, and that's how it came about, right? It all goes back to that.
Thank you. Yeah. What do you think one of the reasons why people in general are so unhappy in this life? Because there's a lot of unhappy people.
Yeah, I think it's lack of clarity. I think that it is lack of clarity around we're going to take it back to love, right? Around what satisfies them in a loving way. And whether that's, and being really clear about that, whether that's something they feel is not in their life at the moment, or something that it's a lack of love, it's a lack of something that's fulfilling in that way, and so I believe that drives a lot of anxiety for people, and the attempt to connect in a way that they have not been able to connect to something loving, I think drives a lot of negativity and a lot of fear. And I think that as a result of that, we see all sorts of things show up for people.
And fear, John, is the biggest end stopping one individual of moving forward from fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, I talk about it in the new book, which is people are having a breakdown instead of a breakthrough. And I think breakthrough is for you just really going to the end result to find incredible people that you're finding them incredible homes,
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary homes, really. If you were granted one wish for humanity, for our planet, what would that be?
It would have to be the elimination of fear through love, right? So, I mean, it is fear that drives all of the negative side of life for us: hate, prejudice, discrimination. The way that all of those negative things show up is somehow through fear, and the only reason that there would be fear is there just isn't enough love there, right? And so and it may not be a single source of love in the moment, but a more comprehensive, loving approach to life. Not that someone that is fear-based doesn't have a partner that loves them or a family that loves them, but that there is a lack of love somehow in their life that feeds that fear, which feeds all of the other negativity that comes along with that. So I would say my wish would have to be for more love and the elimination of fear, right?
What has been the most important lesson you've learned so far in this lifetime?
Well, there are lots of those. Manifestation, I love as an example, and I had my first manifestation as a 6-year-old. And I can think back on that. And what I wanted was a horse. I wanted a pony. And my neighbors had a pony. And my neighbors, we had to get a little permission slip signed in order to ride, for a little liability waiver. And I remember it was the mayor's daughter, and she wasn't pleasant, of our little town. And we would go over and we wanted to ride their horse or their pony. So we had our little stuff. And we were always made to feel like, oh, well, and she actually said to me one day, you'll never have a horse of your own. Like, this is mine. You'll never have one. And I thought, in that moment, I remember so clearly saying, I will too. Like, that will happen for me. I will happen. And within the year, my parents had moved up the road, bought a house. There was a barn in the field in the backyard. And for that Christmas after that, we got ponies for Christmas that year. And it was amazing. And so my whole life has been about manifestations, about understanding what I wanted and watching it unfold in the creation of it.
Do you ever use that when you see a home and you say, I know I have a buyer or I'm going to sell this?
Yes,
clearly. You
clearly.
just feel it.
Yes. That and in the creation of what we know that how a property can appear and what it can look like when we're on the sales side of the conversation, and helping a client create that along with the experience, and so making manifest the vision for that property in a way that maximizes its value and appeal to someone else is rewarding.
So you're really actually becoming, think of yourself as a producer when you start to showcase a property.
Yes.
I mean, you really have to get it ready to go.
Yes. And project management, and we have staff in our group that helps with that, and that simply manages that process and the schedule and the transaction side of it. And we work hand in hand on preparing things for market and then managing the process through. So it's and it's fun having an eye for that and helping with the creation of that. And if the client is interested in that, working with them as a partner to create it can be really fun, looking at their vision for the property, plus what we know is of the moment in sales, and melding those into into the property appealing in a way that serves them in a great way as they make their transition to the next house.
Do you feel when you are in that mindset, John, of finding a home, getting a listing and then putting it out there of I'm going to sell this or have a sale, is there a sense of a ritual you do? Some people, they meditate, they light candles, they do many things. Is there anything that you do daily, ritual?
Yeah, I have a morning routine, of course, that I love, and that keeps me focused. I am early every morning, about a little after 5, meditation for about a half hour before off to the gym and exercise. We, of course, in my work can control what happens in the morning, so I sort of front load the day of taking care of myself and being the best that I can be in the moment in that day for clients and for those that I love. And so it begins with meditation, followed by exercise, followed by nutrition, followed by a little hygiene. And then we get to the office, right, by 9 every day. And we're there every morning, and we treat it as a business in that way. We don't sort of slough in at 10:30 or 11. We're there in the morning with the intention at 9 o'clock that we are there to transact business and to take care of our clients. And that's wonderful because that's self-imposed. Right. And it's chosen. And if someone said, oh, you've got to be up at 5 and you have to do this and you've got to, it would be a different story. But because I choose to do it, it's something that comes pretty easily for me.
Who has been your biggest influence in this lifetime?
The biggest influences have been spiritual teachers for me, and I'm not sure there's a singular one of those. I had an amazing mentor in real estate as well, and she was incredible. But the spiritual teachers that I've had and those that I've learned from, Dr. David Walker here in Los Angeles was such an amazing man and a loss when he made his transition. And it was it began years ago with close friends that I had when I lived in Atlanta, and they were my Atlanta parents and kind of took me under their wing, and we had spiritual growth together as we were going to the Atlanta Church of Religious Science at the time, and that was a wonderful period. And so it's been a myriad of those, and there are people that come into our lives for that experience at the time and to share that, and then they're lifelong friends, and then others show up for the next experience or for a continuation of, and it's and those have all been meaningful to me. Those have all been important.
What makes you laugh?
I make myself laugh. I think I'm funny, and I like my sense of humor, and so I make myself laugh. There are a few comedians that I like. Hannah Gatsby, I think, is hysterical. She makes me laugh. My husband Chuck makes me laugh. I think he's funny. I think we have to be light in our bodies and in our days. I think there's a lot of heaviness and there's a lot of darkness around, and I think that it's important to laugh as much as possible. I think it's healthy. I think it's a stress relief. And I think that, there are just some times when the situation becomes so absurd that makes me laugh. So there are lots of ways to get to it, but we get to it a lot. We take it seriously and we keep it as light as possible at the same time, and there's a fine line there. That's a hard line to walk sometimes.
What would be 3 tips that you would give to someone entering the real estate world, or they're in it already and they're wanting to upgrade or see more results? What tips would you give? 3 tips.
Certainly in the beginning, to find a great mentor. Find someone whom you appreciate their approach to the business. And maybe not just because they're successful in the business, but you actually appreciate their approach to the business would be my first. And there's so much to learn, and it is so complicated, and it is so important, and there is so much at stake that I think we can't overestimate training in the business, and two, I would say that it's a never-ending education, right? And it's being education-based and being inquisitive and being curious and wanting to know more and to be a student of real estate, not just of the business itself and how that business can support us in the long term, and being interested in the industry as well as in the financial aspect of it, I would say is another. And then also you've got to find a home, right, work-wise, and create a family around yourself of people that are supportive of you in your world and in your business world. And so I think finding that in a company, in a group, in a team, and putting those stable of people around you together in a way that supports you to your highest aspiration would be the other. You got to find your tribe, right? You got to find your people.
Thank you, John, for your wisdom, your insight, and your joy today. And I am so happy for you and your insight that you're giving this business world of real estate. And it's really just you're giving love.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure today. I so enjoyed this.
I'm Gary Quinn. Thank you for joining me on Ready, Set, Live. Until next time, be well.